Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Suzuki has reported its set of numbers for the full quarter. And today I am joined by the chairman, Maruti Suzuki, Mr. RC Bhargava. Bhargava-san, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, great set of numbers. 47.8% net profit at 3,877 crores. Good number of sales, sir, good exports. What's fueling the growth for Maruti Suzuki?
It's been our best year, Chetan, as you know. And the fact is that in this year, not only has the company worked to its maximum capacity in production and sales and all that, but we have been helped by factors which are outside our control. For example, the commodities market remained favorable, benign, prices did not go up. That did not put any pressure on costs. The foreign exchange situation remained reasonably favorable. We didn't have any problems on that account. Our company itself maximized, actually we had the highest number of suggestions ever in that year. In a year, we crossed 1 million suggestions implemented in Manesar and Gurgaon put together, a number which we had never crossed before. And exports were at the highest level. So all these things put together led us to a final result which exceeded anything which we had managed in the past.
Right. Sir, also, we'll coming back to the commodity prices later, but first, the highest ever dividend of rupees 125 per share has been declared, sir. Is it a reward for the shareholders? What's your view on that?
The shareholder gets rewarded in two ways. The price of the share goes up, but then that is in many cases just a paper profit because shareholders, if they see a share company doing well, don't sell the shares. On the other hand, the shareholder also gets rewarded in terms of the dividend which he gets. And if he's held the share for some time, then his cost of acquisition is much lower than what the current price is. And at 125 rupees a share compared to last year's 90 rupees, the shareholders certainly feel that he has done well by holding on to Maruti shares.
And also, sir, coming back to the commodity prices, as you initially mentioned, sir, aluminum and copper prices are going up globally. Will it impact margins and would you be able to maintain the prices or in the near future can we expect some price hikes?
It's impossible to make any kind of forecast for 12 months forward. As I told you earlier, Chetan, we have so many factors which are outside our control. And the best we can do is to see that factors which are within our control are managed as best as possible. Factors which are outside our control, we have to see to what extent we can manage by hedging foreign exchange or hedging some of the costs of imports and things like localization and such things. But ultimately, those are factors over which we have limited control. But overall, I think the situation in India is quite favorable for the growth of the car industry. And unless unexpected things happen, I think we can expect a reasonably good year from Maruti once again in 24-25.
Right, sir. And sir, you just mentioned that it will be favorably a good year for Maruti Suzuki as well. But there are, of course, challenges that persist because a lot of auto companies are saying, in fact, sir, that the sales would be decent, but the growth percentage would be single digit. What's your view on that, sir?
It may be single digit. All depends on what kind of policies are framed and implemented after the elections. And it may very well go into double digits also. The government decisions after the elections, I think, are going to make a lot of difference to companies. How the Israeli-Iranian situation is going to play out in the next 2-3 months is going to make a big difference on many accounts. So we can't just say today what's going to happen in September or October or something. Today indications are, Chetan, that inflation is going to remain under control, will come down further, and maybe in the second half there may be a reduction of interest rates. That will certainly help the growth of profits in industry. So you can't be sure or you can't even make a reasonably accurate prediction as to what would be the result at the end of the year.
Sure, sure, sir. So also, you just mentioned about policies post elections and when the new government gets formed. I like to ask you on hybrids, sir, because hybrids are currently taxed about 40 to 43%. Do you think the new government, when it comes to power, should probably focus on reducing the tax on hybrids? Because Maruti, as we all know, is very bullish on hybrids now, sir.
We have been saying for a long time that India needs a multi-technology, multi-fuel approach to solving the problem of the environment pollution by this greenhouse gases. And so far, the government has basically only supported EVs. But Mr. Gadkari made a statement which seems to indicate that there may be a change of approach and a change of thinking after the elections. So, as I said, we have to wait what happens afterwards. If I think the government, there are indications that government now believes that a multi-technology, multi-fuel approach is possibly a better solution for India at this stage of its development, then I think we might see a total difference in the whole situation in the market.
Right, sir. Sir, also you just mentioned about the multi-fuel approach. Sir, are you in favor of now looking at plug-in hybrids as well?
I'm in favor of anything which helps to bring down emissions, which helps to increase efficiency, anything which reduces cost of operations for the customer. Because all these aspects have to be looked at in the mobility of individuals in India. We can't adopt a model which is only looking at emission and forget about affordability. Because after all, we have to deal with people in India and their affordability and what their capacities is. So we have to look at that. And I think the Prime Minister also made some similar statement saying that it's both technology, the affordability, and the effectiveness to reduce emissions, which all have to be considered.
Right. Sir, can we say that Maruti may look into developing plug-in hybrids in the near future?
Maruti will continue to look at all good options which come up and which are both in the interests of implementing what government wants done and which are also customer acceptable.
Sure. Sure. Also, so 2026 is when you said that the revival of small car segment would eventually happen, but the trend doesn't seem to suggest so, sir. Do you think there is a bleak future as of now, the next 2, 3 years, as far as hatchbacks and goes, sir?
No, 26 is just an estimate, Chetan. It depends on how the economy grows, how fast incomes at the lower levels grow. Because it's a factor of affordability. A scooter owner has to have enough means to afford to buy the higher cost car, which he aspires to, but which he cannot, he had to give up because of the price increases. And how to make up that gap and how fast they can make up the gap is really the question, which depends on how the economy grows, how incomes at the lower level grow, how inflation is controlled.
So the consumers are actually waiting for a low budget EV at your end, sir. Is there a
Low
plan to have a
budget
low
EV
budget
is
EV?
not around the corner. I'm sorry, there's going to be nothing. It's not only a low budget EV. People who don't have houses will find it very difficult to own an EV because charging the EV will create tremendous logistical problems if you don't have a charger where you can plug in at night. Practical problem. We have issues with the state electricity board and their when will they be able to strengthen the grids adequately to take the extra load of charging in individual colonies, not in Delhi proper, but in outside smaller cities. The electricity situation is not all that good. We have an issue with customers who want to travel outside the city. They then need to worry about the charging stations and the infrastructure. So it's just not affordability alone which deters people from buying. There are other practical issues relating to ownership of an electric car.
Got it, sir. So towards my second last question to you, sir. So the Jimy was launched with a lot of fanfare in India. Globally, it received very good response, but as per the sales number, Jimy is not being very adaptable to the Indian audience. I know it's a niche segment car, but yes, the numbers that were anticipated are not being achieved. Any reason that you are looking at Jimny to be in trouble, sir?
No, the Jimny was never supposed to be a mass car. If you remember the Gypsy of the old times, it was a four-wheel drive car. It was an excellent car. It was loved by people, but it had a very small market. The Jimny, which we are making, the four-door Jimny, is very similar in many ways. It's a four-door, four-wheel drive car. It's a lifestyle vehicle for a certain class of customers. It's not a mass consumption product. It has, for example, pretty high fuel consumption, and normally people would not want to use such a car. So I don't think the Jimny for the domestic market was ever intended to be a mass volume car, but it's doing very well as an export car. The numbers are going up. I think we are at 4,000 or going up to 5,000 cars a month for exports. The five-door Jimny is going to be developed for export to Japan and elsewhere. So it's a car which is really for a different market. But there was a segment of people in India who wanted that kind of car. So it's not that we should expect all our products to be products which reach 2 lakhs in a year and that kind of thing. This is a different kind of niche product.
Sure. So, last question, sir. Now, sir, is there a trend that you're observing towards the consumers being discouraged for using EVs now, sir? And plus, Tesla is also coming to India. Is Maruti troubled with the fact that Tesla is coming and could probably take over the EV scenario?
No, I don't think we are worried about any of those factors, Chetan. I think our strengths and our market is a somewhat different market from what people who are coming from outside want to sell to. And I don't think that they're in any way going to be a threat to Maruti.
But sir, is there a slump in demand for EVs? Are you seeing any discouragement towards EVs now, sir? Because more and more people are going towards petrol cars now.
No, I don't think anybody is discouraging EVs. But if you read the global news about EVs today, it's not very encouraging. If you read what's happening in the US, what's happening in China, what's happening to Tesla, the amount of excess capacities which has been created both for batteries and for cars, you sometimes start wondering that how do people take decisions?
All right. Well, Mr. Bhargav, thank you so much for joining us. Well, that was Mr. Bhargav talking about how Maruti Suzuki got its good share of numbers for FY24. He mentioned about how the upcoming year would be a favorable and a decent year for the auto industry if the policies drafted by the new government is favorable for the industry. If you've been, thank you for watching.